Hi everyone, my name is William Ben Gunawan, and today in this video I would like to share about the summary and analysis of 2023 economic outlook of the United States of America. Here are the table of contents. We will discuss about the inflation outlook, dollar exchange rates, GDP outlook, balance of payments, trade balance, and also the conclusions and future implications. First, we will take a look at the US inflation outlook 2023 to 2024. As for the current situation, measured by the Consumer Price Index, inflation was halved in 2023, going from an average annual rate of 8% in 2022 to 4.1% in 2023. JP Morgan predicted that US inflation will reach 3.1% in 2024, which is still far from Federal Reserve's target of 2%. Next, we will take a look at the movement of US dollar compared to Indonesian rupiahs. So this is the highest point and this is the lowest point. We can see that the movement is fluctuative from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. But during 2023, we can conclude that the overall price of dollar remains stagnant. And then, what about the US GDP outlook? As for the current situation, the US GDP rose 2.5% in 2023, compared to the growth of 1.9% growth in 2022. Consumer spending was the main driver of the GDP increase. Swiss Re Institute forecasts that US GDP in 2024 will rise by 2.5%. Now we will take a look at the key US economy data forecasts obtained from Swiss Re Institute. We can see that almost all variables, for example real GDP, consumer price index, Fed funds, and also 10-year government bond yield, will have a decrease from 2024 to 2025. For example, for the Fed funds, it will decrease from 4.9% to 3.9% and etc. So, from the previous discussions, we can infer that for the years ahead, there will be a lot of financial challenges. And next, we will discuss about the US balance of payments. There are three main components of balance of payments. The first is current account, the second is capital account, and the third is financial account. As for the current account narrowed by 15.7% to 820 billion. Represented 3% of GDP, down from 3.8% in 2022. So there's a decrease in the current account of US. And the second, as for the capital account, there are also capital transfer receipts that is decreased, but the capital transfer payments increase, indicating that there is a lot of money going outside of US. And as for the financial account, the net financial transactions is at negatives, indicating substantial net US borrowing, while financial assets is increased to 966 billion and liabilities increased by 1.8 trillion. Furthermore, from this data, we can also project the various changes in US balance of payments. For example, overall, in key changes, both exports and imports are increasing, while in traded goods, both exports and imports are decreasing. We can also see the difference between the trade in services, primary income, and secondary income, which their varying results will have a various different meaning. As for the US trade balance, there are 3 points that we can highlight. First, the US goods and services trade deficit decreased from 951 billion in 2022 to 773 billion in 2023, as exports increase and imports decrease. And second, the goods deficit decreased 121.3 billion to 1,061.7 billion, and the services surplus increased to 288 billion. The goods and services deficit was 2.8% of the current gross domestic product in 2023, down from 3.7% in 2022. Here we can see a graph that represents the over-year changes of US trade balance, and the annual goods and services trade deficit keeps increasing from around 350 to around 750. So we can conclude that for balance of payment, overall the US saw a reduction in its current account deficit in the full year of 2023, driven mainly by changes in goods trade and financial transactions. And as for the GDP and inflation, despite positive growth on GDP, US is on a mission to lower its inflation level. GDP growth is a well-known determinant of inflation. So I would like to propose these things for future implications. The first one is economic stability. US should aim to make a healthier trade balance and to reduce the financial market volatility. And as for the inflationary pressures, we need to take a different look at GDP growth and inflation and assess it carefully and also control the import prices. And as for the monetary policy, the government of US can also change the interest rate and inflation rate. Here are some recommendations that can be made for US. For example, by having a gradual increase in the interest rate, balanced budget, promoting exports, and also make an import substitution, while also internally strengthening supply chains, diversifying sources, investment, and also reforming labor market. Here are the references used in this study. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you. I hope my sharing can have a benefit on you. And let's discuss if there's something that you would like to discuss. And see you on the next video.